Loudest drone. Loudest drone.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 372 of the Hoots podcast, talking to you all, each and every single one of you, beautiful, wonderful ladies and gentlemen. It is truly the nefarious brother Adam, aka JOSHIE LOPEZ, talking to you live on August 3rd, 2023. It's a Thursday. We are 2 days out from the biggest party of the summer, known as SummerSlam. For those who are watching the video, please do us a couple of favors. One, like this video and subscribe to the channel as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Also, if you're watching the show, please do us a favor and comment down below what matches are you looking forward to the most this Saturday at SummerSlam, and give us your predictions for the show. It can be in the comment section, depending when you're watching or listening to this, or you could do it in the live chat box that we have here right now. So it is yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam. It's been another busy week of workouts and G1 stuff and yada yada yada. And this is my favorite part of the week, where I come on here and speak from the heart and shoot the shit with you guys. So I appreciate each and every single one of you who've been enjoying the podcast. We are 28 episodes away from reaching episode 400. So if you think about it, 7 months from now, we'll hit that mark in February. God knows what I'll be looking like by that time February comes around, but I'm putting in that grunt work, man. This workout stuff has been the real deal, and I've been putting in that grunt work, and I feel it. But more importantly, it's been very cleansing in a lot of ways, not only from a health point of view, but just a mental health point of view as well. Just going through this process, you know, there's some sense of I want to say content, but also like I'm very proud of the stuff I've been able to accomplish and um, goals that I've kind of exceeded my what I thought I would be doing at this time. Just talk about like challenging myself to elevate the amount of reps I would do on a particular day and kind of see that I could do even more than I thought I would be doing. And it's just been a good process. I've been at this for 2 months now. I feel great. Things are going well. Enjoying this new lifestyle that I got. And more importantly, it's allowed me to reevaluate a lot of things for myself and what I really the main emphasis behind this whole workout stuff, like I said before, is for myself and really reshaping how I want to see myself. More importantly, obviously the health benefits is very important, and I'm not sliding that, but just reshaping how I see myself. And I knew whether I was moving here or I was moving to Florida, I knew I was gonna start doing this stuff and really start the next chapter in my life. So it's go time. I'm kicking ass, kicking ass and taking names with this walking stuff, and it's going good, man. I can't complain, man. Just getting used to doing meal preps. Um, Over the weekend, I cooked for the first time since the last time I spoke to you guys. I figured out how to cook and boiled eggs and made chicken and steak for my preps this week, and rice and all that. And I got to give a shout out to my DT Lucy for helping me out with that process of cooking for the first time for real from scratch. I never done that before in my life, and it was really rewarding. It was really cool. It came out good. I got no complaints. It's a good learning thing. Like there's there's probably one certain in my life that I know that I won't do, and that's probably drive. But as far as like cooking stuff, I'm glad I got that. Like I wouldn't say insecurity, but that fear out. Like it's a notch to write off. That say, hey, I could cook now, and it's just cool, man. I'm very, very, very happy right now in my life, and really at peace with a lot of different things. So it just makes me sad, man, when I go on Twitter and everybody just needs to find something new to whine and bitch about. And I think we're gonna tackle that today, this week in WWE, because it wouldn't be a week in professional wrestling without people being fake mad over a wrestling decision that's going on. Supposedly now people care about Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus not being on the SummerSlam card. Yet while the entire time they've been feuding with each other, we've heard multiple shows, you know who they are, say that, oh, this feud's stupid, it's running its course, Trish can't cut promos, blah, 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 this is taking too long. Now the decision that they're not on SummerSlam, oh, now it's a problem. Now they care. Now they want it. Now they want SummerSlam to be 5 hours too. I even seen a tweet today that said that SummerSlam should be 2 days. 2 days of SummerSlam now. Um, and now it's this whole week. This whole week has been, oh, Triple H and Vince don't care about women's wrestling. Just weefully ignoring the fact that there's also 2 women matches that are on this card on Sunday, which will be my bad, this Saturday, which will be making predictions for it a little bit. But again, man, it wouldn't be another week in professional wrestling without people really just finding things to be fake mad about. And we're going to have fun with that. I'm not really upset about it. I just find pity at it at this point, because even for myself, as I'm distancing myself from the wrestling media, the wrestling bubble as well, like I just feel pity for folks that need to find reasons to not enjoy what is really the most versatile form of entertainment and one of the best forms of entertainment in the world, just by bringing up stuff that, one, doesn't make sense, 2, just trying to act like you're the smartest person in the room, and 3, just talking out of both sides of your ass. Like, it's just, it's really, really unfortunate to see. But anyways, got a couple other things I wanted to plug here. As always, the podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcasts from. Those are also contain those of the Spotify nature. What? Apple Podcasts. What? Stitcher. What? Google Podcasts. What? iHeartRadio. What? Plenty of places to get the podcast. But if you want to see the video versions of the Hoots podcast, make sure to type in the Hoots Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to our channel as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I also like to recommend those to check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, as I've been in the midst of covering the G1. Like I said, I've been busy. It's not just been my workout stuff. I've been nonstop going with the G1. I did night 12 yesterday. We're really reaching the final leg of this tour. Next Sunday will be the finals of the G1 Climax 33 tournament, and we'll give you our week 3 report of the G1 and let you guys know what's coming up this weekend. Then of course we got the main event. What the hell's wrong with AEW as we celebrate 200 episodes of the biggest Mudshow known to man in professional wrestling, otherwise known as AEW Dynamite. So we got a lot to discuss. We got WWE SummerSlam coming up Saturday. I want to recap a little bit of what happened at the Great American Bash this past Sunday in Austin, Texas. We got New Japan. We got AEW. We got a lot to discuss here, right here on the Hoots Podcast. So if you're watching this, if you have a question for me, if there's anything on your mind as we go on through this broadcast, let me know. Let me know what's on your mind, and we'll get to it. And also, don't forget, man, don't be shy. Ask us questions here in the chat box here on YouTube, and I'll give you a shout out as the show goes on. Which means it's time, my friends, for one of my favorite segments here on the podcast of Hoots. It is called the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Okay, let's have some fun here. Let's start off with the good brother Chris Zaletta at X Team Zaletta 24X. Throw up the X, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if you want to follow me on Twitter as well, you can follow me at the Hoots Podcast. Here we go. He says, "What a boost! Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Can we keep the IC title on Gunther and possibly have Ilya Dragunov be the one to beat him for it?" I have no issues with Gunther holding on to the title. I have no issues with him becoming the guy to break Honky Tonk's record and him becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I also don't have a problem of Gunther getting into the program with Dragunov. Is it something that's going to be life or death for me, that Dragunov has to be the one to take the title off of Gunther? No, I don't subscribe to that notion. Don't get me wrong. Anytime you have Gunther and Dragunov on your card, I'm for it. Each way, a stipulation match, wherever the situation is, I'm fine with those two feuding with each other. But it doesn't have to be Dragunov to be the guy to take the title off of Gunther. I get it. A lot of wrestling fans have easy, fancy booking ideas. I think that's just the way things should go. Is what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't have to be Dragunov. It's not this or that for me. All right, next question. Who beats Dominic Mysterio for the North American title? I think Dragon Lee will be the one to beat him next week. I think Dragon Lee, with help from his father, will cost Dominic the North American Championship. And also, I think there's a pay-per-view called Payback that's around the corner. Would not be surprised to see Dominic and Ray link it up again for Payback. Is the person to beat Carmelo Hayes for the NXT title on the current NXT roster, or hasn't stepped foot in NXT/WWE yet? That is also another good question. I believe the person is in NXT. And you could go a lot of different directions. You could go with Tyler Bate. You could go with Dijak. If you want to talk about heels. Wesley's not a bad option. Gotta see how things develop down the road with other guys on the roster. But I think right now with how things are going at NXT, I don't see why other people on the current NXT roster cannot be the guy to take the title off of Carmelo Hayes. And we'll see how long he is the champion. You know, who knows? Maybe Barry Corbin takes it off him and he rejuvenizes his career in NXT. There's a lot of different options to consider. Um, do I see Dragon Lee becoming the NXT champion? I don't. Do I see Mustafa Ali becoming the NXT champion? I do not. Could Noam Dar possibly become an NXT champion? Who knows? I don't know about that group he's with, but there are scenarios and possibilities that you can consider on the roster right now to be guys that could take the title off of Carmelo Hayes. But at the same time, I just want to enjoy his title reign as it's going right now. I'm not really forecasting of when or who should be the one to take the title off of him. Next question. Just an idea, but what do you think about pairing Corbin and Dijak together at some point? Well, whether that's pairing them for a feud with each other or a tag team match, I have no problem with that. I think that'd be pretty good. Two hosses beating the shit out of each other. Or you got two guys that could be a pretty solid tag team. I would not have a problem with that. That's a good question, though. Fantasy draft strategy, running back or wide receiver as your first this season. I'm the worst when it comes to fantasy football. Just being open and honest with you guys. I think right now, this is where things are standing in the NFL. I think if you want to draft something and get a hot start with your team, it would probably be receiver now more than running back. And there's been just these new wave of receivers that are gaining momentum, like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, DJ Moore with the Bears. You got George Pickens in Pittsburgh, who I think is going to have a good year. You got Jamar Chase, obviously. You got Deebo Samuel. You got a whole bunch of great collective of wide receivers. But at the same time, you look at the running back situation. Outside of Nick Chubb and Christian McCaffrey, I don't really know who else I'm like clamoring that I need to get right out of the gate when it comes to fantasy football. I can't trust Alvin Kamara. The guy's injury prone, you know. But if it was me, I'd probably start off with receivers more than running backs just for this particular football season. But it's a good question. What match are you looking forward to the most for SummerSlam? From a transcript point of view, I'm excited to see Gunther and Drew McIntyre for the IC title, but also the other match that I'm looking forward to the most is Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in the Tribal Combat match, because it's another premium live event. We got the Tribal Chief, who's the best big platform wrestler in the world today, and will be taking the school in world title storytelling. And I'm very excited to see. I can't even say that what the next chapter is going to be of the bloodline, but obviously when it comes to big events like this, like SummerSlam, we'll talk about this later on when I make my predictions, but we're going to figure out what the next step is for the bloodline found this tribal combat match, and I'm just excited to see where things go from there. But overall, I'm just very excited for SummerSlam in general. I think the card is really good from top to bottom. I like the fact that WWE is employing a more less is more strategy than jamming 12 matches on a card, and then you have 3 other matches on the show that people are either sitting on their hands, or the matches go for 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe there's a DQ or a double count out situation, and basically wasting everybody's time. Really, you got 7 to 8 matches on this show that have equity built to it. There's grudge feuds. There's titles on the line. You got Roman Reigns. You got Cody Rhodes on the show. Finn and Seth for the world title. The triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship. I really think we're in for a really good show on Saturday night in Ford Field. It's a shame that SummerSlam is in Detroit nonetheless, but there's a lot to look forward to. But if it was me as the fan, I'd probably say Gunther and and McIntyre from a transfer point of view, and then for other storyline reasons, I'll go with the tribal combat match. All right, let's go to the next question here. He says, thoughts on becoming Cody Rhodes. If you guys have not seen it yet, I totally recommend you guys go check out Becoming Cody Rhodes, which is the latest documentary that came out for WWE on Peacock. It came out on Monday. I did like my first 3 reps of my walking on Monday morning. Um, I wanted to knock those out so I could spend time watching this. I've been waiting for this documentary to come out, and it's fantastic. There's not enough good words that I can express here on this show where it starts becoming where you're like giving somebody a verbal fellatio. Like, I don't do that stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that for those who do participate in those activities, but like for me, I'm not gonna come in here and verbally blow Cody Rhodes. I appreciate the guy. I have a lot of respect for him. I think that his story, his personal story, let alone what's going on right now with TV, his story and the man that he is, I have a lot of respect for him. And looking back on the show over the last couple years, especially when he was in AEW, I kind of regret at times how hard I was coming at Cody Rhodes just for how much indifferent I was to the work he was doing on TV at the time. I just really got a lot of like the Jeff Jarrett TNA vibes from him when he was in AEW, and I kind of regret at times how hard I was coming at him and criticizing, and I'm being accountable here to express that fact. And I've always had a respect for Cody in WWE. I love the stuff he did in Ring of Honor. I love the stuff he did in New Japan. The stuff with AEW just didn't click with me. And when he came to WWE, and then I saw being in attendance for that Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins, which, as a kid from Chicago who really just says that the Allstate Arena is like my second home. Like, anytime I see behind the scenes looks of the Allstate Arena, because I haven't been behind the scenes or backstage at the Allstate Arena before, I'm like a wrestling geek in that sense. Like, I really enjoy those documentaries where you see the stuff going on behind the scenes before the people come out to the show, and just seeing what the back of the Allstate Arena looks like. Or they had that shot where Cody has the ice pack on his shoulder and his tit, basically, because it was the pec injury. We see the shot of him walking up that big drive-through. I won't even say tunnel, but that big ass ramp that they got in the back part of the arena. I watched shows that so many times, just to see that was really cool. That was a big weekend too, because obviously Cody was on the poster for that show. It was gonna be the first time Cody's been back in Chicago since all the AEW stuff, and I think he said it on the thing. That was the first time he main evented a pay-per-view in WWE, and seeing what he did and the sacrifices he gave to the company and the fans that night, you'll never hear me say a bad thing about Cody Rhodes. And here's the thing: I never really took any personal shots at the guy, but unlike other wrestling shows that like to pump up their chest and criticize people and blah 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 and not be accountable for the things that come out of their mouth, I'm taking accountability, saying that at times I was indifferent towards Cody Rhodes and I didn't want to see him on my TV. But seeing what he did, getting to be there at WrestleMania when he made his return, seeing the stuff with the match with Seth Rollins, it's just been a complete 180 for me for the respect that I have for that dude, and how he carries himself. I got a lot of motivation from him watching that documentary. Seeing the relationship that he had with his dad was very heartwarming and very touching, very emotional at times too, especially towards the end of it. And you can really see the frustration that was lying within him with the whole Dusty Kid stuff, which I thought was good that they touched on that. The stuff with his daughter, Liberty, was really, really cute. When they tackled the stuff with WrestleMania 39, I thought that was probably the best part of the documentary, because it's real. He even said it, like, yeah, like you got to take a second to live in the moment. But yeah, it freaking sucks that he lost, but he also gained perspective too. And he, when Triple H said that, I think he said that like you need to take a second to realize that your father never main evented WrestleMania. You just did that, and I thought the documentary was really good. Anybody is telling you that Cody Rhodes is gonna be made to be look like a joke because he started AEW, or they're gonna treat him like Sting or blah 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 blah. You need to stop listening to that crap because that's really what it is in its essence is crap. The dude is gonna get a shot. He will become the WWE champion. Whether it becomes at the expense of Roman Reigns, will have to remain to wait and see if that's gonna happen or not. With him finishing his story, but at the same time, man, if you guys have not watched that documentary, I really recommend you guys checking out. I think it's one of the best documentaries that WWE has put out. So shout out to Ben Hauser and Matt Brain for putting it together. I just thought it was really good. I thought Brandy was very good on it. I thought Cody's mom was very good. You see a lot of the things that make Cody, not from a selfish point of view, but like he's a representation of everybody that's in his life that mean the most to him, and that's really what life is in a lot of ways. So, Cody Rhodes is the man. I have a lot of respect for him, man. I really do. He is definitely one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling, and the fact that he's having a successful run as a white meat babyface, as we're still doing these lame Dave Meltzer esque terms on these talk shows. But you get my point. The fact that he's still thriving and gets some of the biggest receptions from the crowd at this point, even with him being a good guy, I just think that's awesome. So shout out to Cody, shout out to Ben and the production crew at WWE. That documentary was fantastic. Next question. Your personal favorite past SummerSlams? That's a good question. I have a couple. It's 2013 for me. Brock Lesnar and CM Punk was fantastic. You have John Cena and Daniel Bryan. I remember that was on that show. That was very good as well. If you want to take a year back, it was Triple H and Brock Lesnar from 2012 was pretty decent. I I've seen Punk and Jeff Hardy ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship in 2009. CM Punk winning that match, and then the Undertaker showed up, which was really cool. For me personally, because I got to see my two favorite wrestlers interact with each other the first time, so that was really cool. Let me go back. I mean, obviously, the first TLC in SummerSlam 2000 could be, yeah, of course, mentioned. SummerSlam 2005 for me is my personal favorite SummerSlam outside of 2002. Um, John Cena against John Cena and JBL, I think was on the show. No, my bad. John Cena, Chris Jericho, Batista, and JBL. The custody of Dominic with Eddie and Ray. Um, so many other stuff in the show. Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. That 2005 SummerSlam for me was my favorite SummerSlam of all time, outside of 2002. SummerSlam 2002 was very good as well. Yeah, take a swig of water here. But that's a good question. If we don't get CM Punk and Omega, if we don't get CM Punk versus Omega, Punk FTR versus the Elite, then what was the point of the Elite re-signing? That's a good question. We're gonna. I think time's really gonna reveal a lot of things from a character point of view, and I'm not talking about on screen. I'm talking about behind the scenes, real life character and resolve between all these entities. Because at the end of the day, are we in it to make money or are we in it to inflate our egos? And that's really the question that needs to be asked. And unfortunately, with who's at charge at that promotion, I don't believe that we're anywhere close of those two entities mixing up, having a match, having a program. I think the idea is cute. I think the idea, the concept of having CM Punk and FTR against the Elite, and people thinking that could be a 6 month or year long feud. Um, I think a lot of it's already losing its luster, and they haven't even interacted with each other yet. And then I get it. It's the premise of the fact that they had this brawl and this fight after the All Out pay per view, but Booker T and Batista got into a fisticuffs with each other backstage for a SummerSlam photo shoot. And I don't think those two ever got the buzz that these two have over this whole situation. And like, okay, I get it for smart marks that they are just dying and just in lust of need of seeing CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. But I really don't think that particular match is the match you think it's going to be. And I'm saying that as a CM Punk fan. FTR and the Young Bucks have had really good matches in the rivalry in AEW. It's one of the few Young Bucks matches I've enjoyed. But the question is, what's the point of them resigning? I really think, and they explained it with their decision in that interview with Justin Barrasso, but I never thought that they were leaving. At least the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. I was a little iffy to see if Kenny wanted to give that a shot and see if he wanted to do something in WWE, but I never thought that the Young Bucks or Hangman would actually go because of the fact that they mentioned before in interviews and stuff that they are family men and the schedule really does mean a lot to them. Now, whether that means we're going to see them invade Collision, we're going to have this Dynamite versus Collision rivalry, we're going to finally get these guys to start working with each other and feuding with each other, I don't know. At this point, I really don't care. Just because the way that whole situation was covered, the whole stuff with how it ended with Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani. Anytime Tony Khan is pressed on the issue, he wants to duck and hide. Talk about there's legal situations. Yet it's almost a year since this incident went down, and we had no clarification of what the legal ramifications or consequences were going to be for a simple ass fight backstage. We got no clarification. Nick Hausman is the only one, and Ariel Wandi are the ones that have the balls to ask the question about what's going on here. I'm sure as we get closer to All In and All Out, I'm sure we'll dodge this question again and see where this goes with the situation where we have grown-ups acting like kids and they can't resolve their little issues because they had a backstage brawl. Both of them are going to keep sending subtle shots at each other and subtweet and blah 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 blah. Like it's very high schoolish, and I'm just personally tired of the whole CM Punk, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega stuff. I just am. At this point, the fact that I don't know, man. It's like Punk has been back for 2 months now, and we gotta wait for him to have his feud with SGF, and then maybe we'll get to this whole stuff with the Elite. By that time comes, are you really gonna mark out for it if they're gonna start feuding with each other? I don't know. But Chris, I want to thank you for the questions this week. I appreciate you, brother, as always. Next set of questions here comes from the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve here. Make sure to follow him on Twitter there. He says, "What up, Boost? It's been a busy week, but good to be back at work and big things are popping for sure. Here are some questions for the back porch. Number one, my girl got herself a new job this week. God's timing is nerve-wracking to say the least. But how do you have a positive attitude when there is so much unknown in the new job, even though it's still what you're good at, but in a new place?" All I can say to that, Mike, is really just understand the fact that you got you. And I don't think people really grasp that. I think really when you know things are cooking and you're comfortable within your own skin, you're comfortable in having that internal confidence, knowing that no matter what situation you can adapt. And more importantly, you got yourself. You got yourself in that position. You got yourself to that point in your life and your career. You earned it. You went about it your way. You earned it. So you got you. Nothing has to change. Why you have to change? You're at your you're at your new place. You bust your ass. Yeah, all environments are different. You just adapt from the surroundings you're in, and just understand that nobody else put you in this position but yourself. So, really, having a positive attitude is knowing that you have you, and you got the man upstairs guiding you along the way as well, which is very important to not forget as well. So, next question: what is the best job or gig you have ever had? Um, that's a good question. I think the best gig I had was getting to work at my uncle Jeremy's tattoo shop for 4 years, and just being in that environment and getting to hang out with him and stuff like that. I think that's, for me personally, my favorite gig that I had, because it was just a good life experience for me to get into that field. But also, I'd be remiss without bringing up the transcripts as well. The transfer stuff has been a mixed bag for me. I have a lot of pride and grace that has come with doing transcripts and doing the show, but there's also been a lot of bullshit that's come with it as well. And even though I did not make as much as I wanted to at the tattoo place as I have with the transcripts and stuff, um, I'm very appreciative of the time that I've had making transcripts for a living, and I don't know, man. I don't know what the future holds with me in wrestling media once the G1's over. I kind of talked about it earlier this week on Twitter, but once the G1's over, I'm gonna be taking an extended break, and right now I'm right now I can't control or overthink about this situation anymore. I mean, it's August. I've been furloughed since March. How much longer I'm gonna keep harping on it? I've been at this stuff for 10 years, and if it's my time to go and step away from wrestling media, then so be it. If if what I'm offering is not good enough for size where I can't make a stable living, then maybe it's not worth it. I'm not I'm not I'm not wishing and hoping anymore that people are gonna come here and save me. I have enough confidence to say that I should be working at a place like Fightful. I should be having opportunities to go to events like what's going on this weekend in Detroit, or being in the press box for WrestleMania and covering the event. I know I should be doing that. Nobody else has to tell me that. I know that already. And right now it's just what? Wait to figure out whether or not I'm going to be brought back to my job and then deal with the same shit that I've been dealing with for the last 2 years, knowing it damn well that I go to their site and I see G1 coverage and New Japan result articles on there, when these are the same people that told me that they don't have the funds to compensate me for New Japan coverage. You know, it's very frustrating. I try not to let that bubble or fester inside me, but stuff happens, and people will lie to you. People just lie straight to your face, man. They'll sell you a dream. They'll tell you um, how valuable you are to you, how valuable you are to their site. And I've been told multiple times by the people that furloughed me, like, "Hey, man, don't beat yourself up. We'll bring you back as soon as possible." I don't know who to trust, man, and I'm just tired of just thinking I'm gonna get back on track. And it's so funny, man, because earlier this year I really started off really good, man. Like, the first 2 months of the year I made like 2,500 each month, and I thought this was gonna be a good year to bounce back because of the stuff I lost last year. Then to lose your job like that, it just you know I don't know, man. I really don't know what my place is when it comes to the writing portion of the wrestling media. I know what this show is, and I know what its value is to a lot of people, and I'm very grateful to come on here and record this show for you guys each and every single week. But if we're being honest here, I'm probably at the bottom tier of the wrestling media if you consider um, Sean Ross Sapp, Denise Salcedo, and I'm not taking shots at any of these people. By the way, they've all earned their success along the way. I'm not knocking any of these people, but if we're being honest here, so you have your Sean Ross Sapps, Denise Salcedo's, Cameron Hawkins, Matt Coons of the world, etc., all up here, and I'm like down here. Here's a little measly transcript guy who I guess can't draw in viewers for his articles, and a guy who's been doing a podcast that's not based in booking and whining and bitching the entire time. And this is the thing about me, guys. I'm direct to a fault at times, even with myself. Just being realistic here, I'm probably at the bottom tier of wrestling media. I'm like Mansoor. I'm like somebody in WWE that's in catering. That's where I am right now in my career when it comes to the wrestling media stuff. I can't sit here and blame anybody. You know, it is what it is. I got furloughed. You know, I'm not the only person that's going through the situation. So whether or not I get picked up from my furlough situation or another opportunity arises, I, I'm just tired of thinking about it. It's just deflating. It really is. I really thought I was gonna start gaining some momentum and get back on track, but um, I don't know, man. It's really deflating because I put 10 years to this, and you never want to get yourself to the point where you start questioning yourself if you made the right decision going down this route of going into broadcasting and getting into the media. I've been able to accomplish a lot of cool stuff at my age that most people wouldn't. Like I started into stuff when I was 19, so here I am 10 years later. I don't want to sit here and start asking myself if I made a mistake going getting into this field, you know. But also I understand time's ticking too, man. So after the G1's over, I'm gonna be taking a break from making my transcripts, and we're gonna see where it goes there. I'm sorry that I've been going on a tangent here with this question, but I figured this is gonna be now the good time to talk about this situation. So I just want to let you guys know what's been going on in my head the last couple of weeks. So, all right, it's been a tough couple of months, but we're getting back to normal financially. Good to hear that. What is your lowest? What is the lowest your credit score dropped? Either a number or a level answer. I have no idea. I don't even know what my credit score is, to be honest with you, Mike. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what my credit score is. What do you think the biggest impact or who have you impacted most in your time at podcasting been so far? Um, I can't really speak to who I have impacted the most because that'd be very selfish and just unbecoming of me. I really don't know. I think that's a better question for you guys. If honestly thinking about this since we've been doing this show for 7 years, if I could say that I've made somebody's experience with professional wrestling better, I think we've done our job. If this show has been able to provide some good life advice along the way and a lot of laughs and just some wisdom along the way, then I think we've done our job. If I made your wrestling experience better from the minutia and just whining and complaining wrestling shows and letting this be the escape for you, then I think we've made our accomplishment. I think that obviously Adam and Derek have made the biggest impact on me. Not only for them being my co-hosts, my two primary co-hosts since we've been doing this show, but both of them being my brothers and them just being there for me with personal situations and just picking me up from a confidence point of view. So those two have made the biggest impact on me. Obviously, um, B Rob and referee Tony should be given the shout out as well. They should be go they shouldn't be without praise here. They've both had a big impact on me as well. Me personally, I can't really say whether or not I could pinpoint what my biggest impact is with this show. I hope this show has been an escape from the repetitive style of wrestling talk that you get on YouTube and etc. I hope this show's been entertaining. I hope the show's been able to make you laugh. I hope the show's been able to make you think. And I hope the show's allowed you to. I hope the show's been a mental escape for you guys. Really, I really do because this show's therapy for me. There's been many times on here where I talked about personal situations and I've been very vulnerable and open with you guys over the years. And trying to find myself throughout this process. And I think, more importantly, I think you guys see me grow as a man during this time period. And it's giving me a lot of time to reflect now. Now that we're getting closer to 400 episodes. And again, even with the transfers, I got to figure out what the future is going to be with this podcast. I don't want it to overstay its welcome. I really don't. We've been able to accomplish a lot of cool shit. I mean, we're at 715,000 downloads on Anchor. We're very close from reaching 1 million. So, I don't know. That's the thing, too. I really don't know what our impact is with this show. I hope that we made people laugh. I hope this show's been able to give you guys a different perspective on wrestling that's not broached. I hope this show's been able to make you laugh, like I said, and I hope the show's been there for you to get your mind off of other things too. So, that's the best way I can answer that question. It's a very good question, Mike. I'm glad you asked that. Who has the least chance or odds of losing their respective matchups at SummerSlam based on what you have seen? Logan Paul or Brock Lesnar? I'm gonna go with Logan Paul. Um, I just think he's gonna beat Ricochet. So there's one of your spoilers there. There's one of your predictions there. I think Logan Paul will beat Ricochet. And honestly, Logan Paul has more to earn here for this victory than Brock Lesnar does over Cody Rhodes. So I'm going to go with Logan Paul with that question. If Drew McIntyre wins the IC title, is that a sign he's staying with WWE? Or you can still see him leaving? I don't think the result of this match has any bearing of whether or not Drew McIntyre is leaving WWE or not. Excuse me. I don't think the decision of him winning or not winning the title on Saturday has any bearing on whether or not he's winning, if he's staying or leaving WWE. Drew, he could if he wants to. If he feels like he needs to get out again, more power to him. But I'm also not taking. I haven't bought into the whole stuff from Meltzer that, oh, you wanted to leave because of creative issues or whatever the rumors were. I just never believed in that whole shit. So I have to see for myself if he wants to leave. If he wants to leave, that's his deal. But I don't think whatever happens on Saturday has any weight or bearing of whether or not he's going to be staying or leaving. Speaking of leaving to other places, what 3-letter abbreviation looked worse for the transaction last night? RVD or AEW? AEW. I don't get me wrong, I like seeing Rob Van Dam on my TV screen, but AEW's just desperate need to cling on to things that will pop dirt sheet crowds. Is just getting sad at this point. So I'm gonna say AEW more than RVD. Also, did you watch the original Double or Nothing event? If so, what chance did you see of AEW succeeding at the time? I was on the fence. I did. I did watch that pay-per-view. Really enjoyed the Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes match. I think that show was also, wasn't that Jericho and Hangman Page for the title, right? So, I thought the concept was fine. There were some aspects of it that I already knew that it was gonna go down a rabbit hole that I just didn't think it was gonna be cool. So I wouldn't say I was 50-50, but I was definitely on the fence with different things. But that Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes match for the original Double or Nothing show was fantastic. But looking back at it now, like a lot of the stuff that I've seen when it comes to AEW, not a lot has changed since 2019. And more importantly, as I watch AEW, I'm more reminded of the fact that their company is nothing more but false advertisement. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, the Snowman, Brian Snow. Excuse me, bitch. What's going on, Snowman? Hope you're doing good, my man. Um, yeah, I mean, when I look back at AEW in the 4 years now, I just think that it's been a lot of false advertisement. I'm going to be talking about that a little later on and what the hell is wrong with AEW. But let's continue on here. What do you think of Mox's comments that a match should have blood because it's a fight, essentially saying that every match he's in should have blood? Well, I think John Moxley is full of his own shit, so I really don't care what he says. It's just stupid. It's pro wrestling. It's not MMA. You need to find every excuse you can to convince yourself that you're Abdullah the Butcher or Bruiser Brody. You're not any of those people. You're not Terry Funk. You're not Minoru Suzuki. You're not any of them. You are a bum. Listen to me, Moxley. You are a bum. Okay? Next question. How stupid on a scale of 1 to 10 was the Dynamite program as a whole, bringing out the roster to thank Tony Khan for episode 200 instead of maybe the audience? Well, that I think that was a digital exclusive. I didn't really care for that. I didn't even watch it, to be honest with you. So on a scale of 10, I'll probably give it a 5 because I was just indifferent to the whole situation. So I'll give it a 5. Um, Question 11 here. If someone threw something at you during a concert, what would be your response? Throwing it back? Nothing? Running off? The Cardi B mic throw? That's a good question, man. Depending on... Oh, man. That is a very, very good question. Would I throw it back? No. Man. You really stumped me on this one. I really don't know. Part of me just wants to just walk down and see whoever did it and just pop them in the mouth, but that's just me. Um, you know what? I wouldn't run off, but I probably just like leave the stage or whatever. That's probably what I would do. Probably nothing. What are your thoughts on the climate events happening around the world right now? Is it just a crazy or is the climate crazy after a lot of warnings? There's a lot of stuff going on in this world that I don't know what's making sense or not. Um, People are fascinated and just obsessed with UFO talks and stuff like that and aliens and no, I don't think any of that stuff's true. Nor am I gonna spend the time trying to classify or get into debates whether or not that situation is true or not. As far as global warming, I don't know, man. I just don't know. um, let's see. Have you ever slammed or stood in 90, 100-degree water? Can you imagine that feeling? No. I think the hottest water I ever stand in, I guess, was probably like 80 or 85, but that was like a Florida pool or something like that. Like, I don't know if I ever been in a pool or area that was like 90 and 100 degrees. Like, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. Um, what is the longest you have taken to get reimbursed for a job or task you paid out of pocket as part of work? Oh, that's a good question. um, let's see. I think for me, the longest. Well, it's interesting because this happened last year. Was the Ric Flair's last match? Um, I did that show. It was the day after SummerSlam last year, and I got the hey, can you cover the show for Ric Flair the pay per view tomorrow night? And I'm like, okay. and they said they were gonna reimburse me $300. It took me about 2 months to get that check back from them, but I'd probably say it was Ric Flair's last match. I got paid $300 to cover that show, so it'd probably be that. Um, but as far as man, I think the most I've ever spent to cover a show was probably like a Bound for Glory show where I had to pay like 55 or $60. I forgot what it was, but I had to pay $55 out of pocket to cover Bound for Glory live. Um which was kind of a sucky situation because you would get paid like 150 for the pay per view, but you have to pay 100. No, not 100, but you have to pay like 55 or 60 to watch the show live. Um, it's kind of sucky situation. You think these websites have this money? Oh, hey, maybe something to reimburse you to watch it on Fight TV, but no, you have to pay. You have to pay for the pay per view to watch to cover it yourself. So, those are the two examples I can give there. All right, let's go to the next question. What do you think about Pat McAfee walking back comments about Michigan State uniforms looking like being made by Larry Nassar? Is the ESPN brass ring getting to him, or was he just being careful doing that? Yeah, Pat's gonna get into a very slippery slope here when it comes to this situation. I don't know how he's gonna navigate it. To be honest with you, I I hope it works out for him. I don't even know the launch date of that show when it happens because I haven't really been watching the Pat McAfee show for the last couple of months. And it's not a dig towards him and the boys. I still love it and what they do, but I haven't really been watching it recently, so it really hasn't been a priority for me to think about it. Um, but as they get closer to doing this thing with ESPN, they have to figure that out. They do. They got to figure it out. And there's gonna be some things that are gonna be said on that show from his crew too. That they're whether people believe or not, that show is not gonna be the same as it was before. I don't believe it. So we'll see how that works. Did you or family members ever watch Nick shows that weren't animated, like Are You Afraid of Dark or Are You Afraid of the Dark or Victorious? No, I never watched either of those shows. Um, I watched when I was a kid. I watched a lot of like um, Degrassi, Zoe 101, um, whatever the show was with Nick Cannon and Keenan Thompson. I watched that. iCarly, obviously. Um, Ned. I forgot the name. It has some long title, but the Ned show was very good too. There wasn't a lot of the animated shows I watched either at the time. I gotta be honest with you guys. I never really been a big TV guy, whether it's like um, TV shows or stuff like that. Like I was just like very simple with like yeah, maybe I'll watch some comedy stuff like Wild Out. I'll watch wrestling and I watch sports, and that's pretty much it. I am the worst when it comes to like picking out and pointing out TV shows and stuff like that. I've just never been a big TV guy. Um, what do you think of Nickelodeon getting a Super Bowl simulcast? Who would you like to see in the booth for that game? I think that's cool, and I think the booth that they have already with Nate Burleson and Ian Eagle's son is a good booth as it is. So I think that's cool. It's cool for the kids, and I think that's gonna be an interesting deal. So that's pretty cool. It's my niece's 21st birthday, so I have to ask, happy birthday. As being straight edge, did you get tempted or think about doing the usual stuff for the 18th or 21st birthday? Drinking, smoking, etc. No, no, and no. I'm glad you asked me this question because we really haven't had a chance to talk about this on the podcast. But really, my decision to become straight edge for me is just knowing that I was going to push myself into situations that I was not going to get myself out of, in situations that I didn't need to partake in. and I felt in a lot of ways succumbing to drugs and doing alcohol and all that extra stuff was just a cop out excuse to not being able to confront real issues head on and talking about it and dealing it on your own accord. And I'm not gonna come in here and start preaching people to not do drugs or smoke or whatever or drink. It, I'm not even gonna talk about the weed stuff either. What I'm gonna say is that I made the decision for me. Just like anything else I do in my life, I made the personal decision that I was not gonna go and rely on smoking cigarettes and doing drugs and drinking alcohol to get my mind off of real life issues. People have their own methods, and I understand that. I don't look down on people who do drink or smoke weed or whatever. I don't look down on people like that. I'm doing it for me because it's just beneficial in a lot of different ways. And I know people in my life that have bad ways of communicating with people because the the after effects of drinking and smoking and all that stuff just brings out the worst of people. And I just did not. Really, that's just something in my life I didn't want to partake in. Um, and even during my time when I was like 18 and everything was going to shit during that time period, my parents getting divorced. Like even then, I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to start smoking or doing drugs. It just wasn't for me. And yeah, I could thank CM Punk a lot for the straight edge motivation to not partake in that stuff. But also, it's just what I was seeing, and I didn't want to do it. It wasn't for me, and I realized really at a young age, especially during the 18 and 21 time period, I really figured out a lot of things that I just didn't want to associate myself with, and has that cost me friendship? Has that cost me time to go to clubs and have more friends and stuff like that? Yeah, maybe. But if that's the case, those were the friends I probably didn't need at the time too. And I'm not again. I don't thumb my nose at people who drink or smoke or whatever. Hell, I mean, Lauren, I fell in love with the chick and she was recovering from her stuff. I was helping out that girl a lot during the roughest part of her life. You know, it is what it is. Uh, I like helping people. I like helping people grow. Um, and even for me, I wasn't even trying to like force her to stop doing that. You when you get to those rabbit holes and you become an addict and all that stuff. Honestly, at the end of the day, you got to take yourself out of doing that situation. Or even if you're a person that just doesn't know how to handle yourself in a communicative point of view, like no matter, there's nothing in life that you can't get out of unless you do it yourself. Like for me, with this whole workout stuff, if I want to reimagine what I look like and get down to 205 pounds, I had to start doing it my way, and I had to just start doing it. The same thing applies here for those who are drug addicts or people who have alcohol issues. The only way you're gonna stop doing it is stop doing it, and it's really that simple. So, um, I was never tempted. Um, I just didn't partake. It just wasn't for me. So, I'm very proud of the fact that I decided to become straight edge because I just didn't need it. I could be a uh, my appreciation in ways of living life is not dependent on the opinions of the other people. My need to relieve myself from stress and pain is not dependent on drugs and alcohol or pills. That's also important as well. My happiness is what I see happiness within me, and that's that. It doesn't make me better than anybody. Just because I'm straight edge doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. But if anybody is struggling with drugs, and are an addict or whatever the situation is, I like helping people out and helping them through those situations. But I just never got myself to the point where I was like, okay, I can't deal with this stuff anymore. I just need it. I need it. I needed to get my mind off of what I'm dealing with. And I have a different resolve than most people, and I can admit to that. So I don't need drugs and alcohol to satiate my life. But for those who do, more power to you. More power to you. At 19, Thea has had an impressive run for her age and experience. Is she a future NXT Women's Champion in the next 1 or 2 years? I'll say yes, really quick to that question. And then the final question for this week's podcast is, also, is Cora Jade on the way to Raw or SmackDown after taking her ball and going home? Or will this be a different storyline in NXT? I think it's going to be a different storyline in NXT. I think there could be some way where her and Roxanne Perez probably get into a feud with each other again. So I'm going to say right now that I think it's more likely that Cora finds her way back to NXT than she is on Raw or SmackDown. Mike says, as always, thanks for the entertainment and outright honesty. Stay Usi. Well, Mike, I appreciate you. And Chris, I appreciate you for sending your questions this week, as you guys always do. And I appreciate all of you for hanging out with us for this edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to ask me a question, all you have to do is send me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. And when we come back, it's time to talk about what happened this week in the world of WWE and get you ready to make our predictions for the Slam of Summer right here on the Hoots Podcast. All right, folks, time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. We are a couple days out from the SummerSlam pay-per-view. This segment is going to be a little bit short and abbreviated. There's just so much to discuss. I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. So with that being said, we're going to talk a little quickly about what happened this week on programming. I have a couple of videos I want to show you from different podcasts this week, but also we're going to make our predictions for SummerSlam. But let's start off with this. Let's talk about the Great American Bash this past Sunday in Austin, Texas. I thought it was a very good show from top to bottom. You know, you have Wesley, Dominic Mysterio, and Mustafa Ali. The triple threat match I thought was very good. Tiffany Stratton is a bona fide star in more ways than one. Her match with Thea Hale I thought was very entertaining. You know, you have the debut of Gable Stevenson. I thought that guy got a rough deal. Personally, I don't know what the allegations are towards him. I don't know much about that story, so I can't really speak on the whole situation. I will say that his punches looked like crap, but, you know, I wasn't really going to harp on the guy that much. The crowd just didn't give him the time of day, which I thought was unfortunate. Baron Corbin, I dig the new entrance. I like the new gear. I thought that was pretty cool. The tag match that kicked off the show, congratulations go out to the family. How's the Gabagool? We had Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo defeating Gallus to become the NXT Tag Team Champions. Very, very good match. Excuse me. I thought that was very good. Also, the Weapons Wild match with Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport. I gotta say, shout out to Blair Davenport. That girl is freaking hot. But very physical match between both ladies. We saw Roxanne's family at ringside during it, so that was pretty cool. And then we had the main event, Carmelo Hayes of Ilya Dragunov. I thought That was a fantastic title match. One of the best NXT title matches of the year. And I was not surprised. I knew this match was going to be good on paper. Those boys definitely delivered on Sunday night. And I thought Booker and Vic Joseph had a very good call as well as far as what happened at the Great American Bash. So, really quick, this is my takeaway and overall review for the Great American Bash 2023. Overall, for me, I thought the show was very good. If you had to ask me for a letter grade, I'd probably go 8.5 out of 10, a solid B. Just really good wrestling. The three-way match and the involvement with Rhea, I thought was good. Tiffany Stratton and Teal Hale was a lot of fun. Congratulations to the family as they defeated Gals for the tag team titles. The Weapons Wild match with Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport. Shout out to Booker T and Vic Joseph on commentary. And that main event of Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. If you've not seen that match, go check it out. Overall, pretty solid show for the Great American Match. It's solid this momentum overall for NXT. So kudos to you guys. All right. Before we get to our predictions for SummerSlam, there's a couple of things I wanted to mention here. First off, for Monday Night Raw, I really, really enjoyed Imperium, man. Two things. Ludwig Kaiser and Matt Riddle, I thought was a very good match. And also, shout out to Chad Gable and Gunther. Another good match on Raw. I thought was fantastic. Don't worry, I'll have my time to talk about the whole Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus situation in a couple of seconds. But I wanted to play a couple clips here because we heard that WWE gave out the report of the latest financial reports, the quarterly financial report, right? And just another strong quarter for WWE. Business is booming. You look at the crowds that they're getting each and every single week on TV. You're seeing more and more of this momentum merchandise-wise and stuff like that. They're making money out of their ass now, man. They're making loads of money. And Eric Bischoff and John Alba talked about this on their Strictly Business podcast. You guys should go check it out. It's one of my weekly shows that I enjoy watching the most, Strictly Business. I learned a lot from Eric Bischoff, and I do appreciate the insights from John Alba on those shows. And I just want to play a little clip for you guys here from that situation. And so let's hear what Eric Bischoff and John Alba have to say about this recent financial report for WWE and where things are right now with their current business. So let's sit back and enjoy this a little bit.
And great thing for the talent.
I think the storytelling and having a story as hot as the Bloodline story is no doubt a big part of that. I think, Eric, one of the biggest reasons as well in WWE's instance, I think it's truthfully the emergence of Cody Rhodes as a top-tier babyface. I think that having a babyface who gets receptions the level of Cody Rhodes, which the company has not had in a really long time, really since John Cena was anchoring things down, I think that is a direct correlation to positive reflection with bringing kids and younger audiences to these live events, bringing more people into the arena because they have someone who they're truly invested in rooting for. Can you attest to anything when it comes to the power of a strong babyface as a draw when it comes to live events from your experience?
Let me see if I can think of one. I don't know. Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, that guy did okay.
The Rock? Steve Austin? And look, it's easy to pick out guys that are icons in the business during their periods of time. But I absolutely agree with you on Cody, by the way. I agree with you, and I'll throw in 10% more. How's that? But I think the kind of success that we're talking about here in this WWE report reflects not only a super hot babyface in the positive reaction from the audience that manifests in live event sales and ticket sales and merchandise and all the things that go into these quarterly reports. But at the same time, You talk about bringing younger fans to the venue or to the product, while you bringing in this white hot, incredibly talented Cody Rhodes. You're also doing business with Logan Paul,
Mm-hmm.
and you're bringing in that massive fan base that are fans of Logan Paul's, and he's bringing them along as well. Now, hard to quantify it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe WWE has some data and they've done some research that helps support it. But I just think anecdotally, anybody would have to agree that, holy crap, you got white hot babyface, you got guys like Logan Paul, you've got an incredibly hot storyline in the bloodline, you've got emerging stars like Jey Uso, you've got LA Knight, which is the guy is just catching on fire. And this is where, if WWE's not careful, they're going to find themselves soon with the trajectory that they have of finding themselves in a position where everything that they touch is going to turn to gold. Steve Austin, The Rock, John Cena, for a long period. Fans can think what they want to think about John Cena, but from a business point of view,
He printed money.
Business was good, right? And when you and I experienced it for a brief period of time in WCW in really in 97, 98, early 98, where you almost could do no wrong. And even if you did things that were 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, that might catch on. When you're white hot, that maybe it will, maybe it won't catch on, turns into a slam dunk because the energy's there. And I'll give you an example. Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because WCW was so hot when Bill emerged and began his career that it became so much easier to position him to become a superstar, because he was surrounded by so much great talent that was over, that was white hot. The Nitro itself was white hot. It was the definition of must-see TV. And it was perfect timing, man. The moon, the stars, everything was aligned. The audience interest was super hot. The media was covering it in a way, for us, at least for WCW, it never had before. So it made getting Bill Goldberg to the point we did, getting him over to the point we did, so much easier. So much easier. If Bill Goldberg would have come along 6 years earlier, 5 years earlier, if Bill Goldberg would have emerged and had some of his first matches in 1993 or 1994 or even early 1995, I don't think he would have gotten over. We would have been able to get him over to the extent that we did. And that's where WWE is heading. They're headed to that sweet spot. It doesn't last forever, but they're heading into a sweet spot where a guy like LA Knight, who I knew who he was, but he was off my radar 6 months ago. And now he's all over my radar. He's everywhere I'd look. Every time I turn on, I open up my X.
Who knows? Whatever it's called.
I'm going to call it a Zwitter. My Zwitter.
Yes.
When I open up my Zwitter and look at my Zwitter timeline, I got to get used to saying that. It doesn't just roll off the tongue. No. He's everywhere. And I've watched some of his clips. I haven't sat down and watched him on the show, but I've watched a lot of his clips. I've watched some of his promos. And I get, Kevin Nash, he came out and took a little bit of a half-ass shot, but I understand why he said it. I saw the same things Kevin did. But, man, he's on the verge of really getting over. It's fun to watch, man. It's what makes me interested in WWE. Isn't necessarily watching the storylines play out like most people. I get off on this kind of stuff. Reading this report is going to make me to tune in to WWE more regularly to find out how they're achieving this. I want to see what they're doing as best you can on television. A lot of it you can't, but I want to see what they're doing creatively, at least, that's generating this kind of success. That makes me interested in their product.
All right. That was comments there from John Alba and Eric Bischoff from the Strictly business podcast. This is very good. You guys should check it out each and every single week, anywhere you get your podcast from. I got one more clip I wanted to share here on the pod this week is from an interview that Daniel Cormier did where he recently had World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins on the program. And we're going to hear Seth and DC talk a little bit about what's going on here for Seth as he's heading into SummerSlam this Saturday against Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. So let's hear what Seth has to say here with DC. This should be a fun conversation here, so I hope you guys enjoy it. This is Seth Rollins here with Daniel Cormier.
You know, careers like this is all about the moments and the memories. I think back to my fight career and all those great moments that I had inside the octagon, and I can see you making them. But you just spoke about hanging on. Now, we got through a little bit of the get there. Now we're here. You're hanging on because the Judgment Day, they're nipping at your heels, man. They are dastardly, and they are taking over the WWE from NXT to SmackDown to Raw. They're everywhere. But they're everywhere trying to steal your championship. We got Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest nipping at your heels. We got Finn Balor, who beat you before to become a champion, as your opponent coming up in Detroit, Michigan. How much are you having to look over your shoulders, my friend? And do you need backup at this point?
Well, you know, the thing is with the Judgment Day, I don't have to enlist backup. I'll start there because they've made so many enemies. They've made so many enemies along the way that backup is gonna find its way, right? It's gonna make its way to me, you know, whether it's gonna be Kevin Owens, whether it's gonna be Sami Zayn or any of the other people on NXT that they've done wrong, Wes Lee, any of these guys. And so I think backup will find its way to me. Now, on the other side of that, there's only one world heavyweight champion, right?
Yep.
And you got two guys in the Judgment Day who are looking to become world heavyweight champion. And at some point, that's going to cause a problem. I know right now they're thinking, man, we got this all figured out. But I'm telling you, as someone who has cashed in Money in the Bank, who has held that briefcase for a long, long time, that thing gets to you, man. It gets to you because you have to take every opportunity that you can get. You never know, you know, when the right time's going to come up, and you got to be prepared at all times. And so Damian Priest, he's going to do that. He's going to do everything he can to make sure he cashes in successfully. And if that means doing it at the expense of his friend and Finn Balor, I'm telling you, there's no way he's going to turn that opportunity down. And so to me, I worrying about a group's no fun. I've been a part of a group, very famous group. We did all right. Yes. And we use numbers to get where we wanted to go. So I understand that that's difficult, but having that experience, having the Money in the Bank experience, I also know how to be prepared for these type of things. They don't call me a visionary for nothing, DC. I got these things in the back of my head. I got these experiences. These moments have all been in there. They ain't going nowhere, man. So they're helping me get to where I need to go. So Judgment Day, awesome. Love what they're doing. They're incredible from top to bottom, but they ain't me. And that's all there is to that.
All right. All right, that's Seth Rollins on the latest edition of Daniel Cormier TV. Speaking of Seth Rollins, little breaking news here as we record this live. I just found out that my Chicago Bears have signed free agent pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue is now a Chicago Bear. Let's go, baby! Take that! Take that! As David Kaplan would say. Woo! Really cool, man. Glad we got him. I know a lot of people on Twitter have been harping and hoping that this guy would come on the team. So, very cool, man. A nice get. Another good get for this defense. Take another step for this season. I mean, it can't get much worse than last year's Bears defense. So, it's a 1 year, $10 million deal. I think that's pretty cool. So shout out to the Bears as they just signed Yannick Ngakoue for their defense. That is very cool. I am down for that. Just like I'm kind of down for this new look I'm rocking here. I still got my side hair here, but without the mustache, so I kind of dig it. Anyways, back to the show. So a couple comments there I just wanted to get going on that with Seth Rollins, good comments there as he had stories his match with Finn Balor and the stuff he's been doing with the Judgment Day. So that means we need to get down to brass tacks here. We need to get to it. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to make our predictions. No, for SummerSlam coming up this Saturday, live from Ford Field in the dump of all dumps, Detroit, Michigan. All right, let's do this. All right, let's get to this. Slim Jim Battle Royale Jones. I am going with LA Knight to win this. The following confirmed participants in this Battle Royal will be LA Knight, Sheamus, Tommaso Ciampa, Shinsuke Nakamura, Otis, and Chad Gable. I'm pretty sure Grayson Waller will be added to this, The Miz, etc., etc. One way or another, I think LA Knight will win, but I'll tell you right now, it will be pretty funny to see Grayson Waller eliminate LA Knight for the Slim Jim Battle Royal. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm here for the heat. I know a lot of people be crying. I can't believe that you guys buried LA Knight like that again. Why are you doing this to us? He got over so organically. Do you hate your fans? Do you hate your fans? Before we get to the rest of the predictions, I guess I should do this. It's not a rant, but it's just we have to be honest here on the Hoots podcast. Hey, wrestling Twitter, can we stop being a bunch of hypocrites? Are we done with the fake being mad about stuff and then forgetting about it the next week? All this stuff, this whining and bitching and complaining about the fact that there's not 4 women's matches at SummerSlam. And no, I'm not sexist. This is not what this is going to be about. This is reality and then crybaby entitlement from the IWC and wrestling Twitter. They don't like facts and they don't like reality too. All these people who now suddenly give 2 shits about this Becky Lynch Trish Stratus feud and the fact that they're not on the SummerSlam card. Oh, now they want to throw a hissy fit about it. While if the match was advertised, the match would lose their time. It would be rushed. And 2, people wouldn't give a shit, wouldn't give 2 shits, and will probably forget about the match by the time it's over. Don't sit here and tell me that you are personally offended and that you want to boycott SummerSlam and say that use a hashtag that WWE women's deserve better, while on the same show there's 2 other women's matches on the same freaking card. What are we doing here? Okay, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez are not having the Raw Women's title match on the show. Whoopity-doo. You guys want SummerSlam to be 5 hours again? And then you could complain about that as well, too? I get it that Becky and Trish have been fighting for each other since February. I get it. I get the whole deal. But how are we going to sit here with straight faces say, man, I really appreciate Triple H taking the less is more approach, and then whine over the fact that we're not having 4 women's matches on SummerSlam? Like, tell me how that makes any sense. It's a new week. We need something new to bitch about WWE. Oh, Becky and Trish will not be on the show because WWE doesn't want SummerSlam to be 5 hours. Oh, see, here's another conspiracy theory. Oh, it has to be Vince. Oh, it's Bruce Pritchard's fault. No, you really want to sit here and tell me that you want a 5-hour SummerSlam where we fit in those 2 matches, fit in the LA Knight singles match, any other complaints you want to add on to it? Oh, I can't believe Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio are not fighting for the tag team titles. KO's hurt. I really did not want to yell tonight because I really am in a good mood and it's been a very good week. But it's like, my God, there's one thing from fantasy booking and being entitled on Twitter, and then there's something called fucking reality. You, of all people, who've been whining and moaning about how Trish's heel promos are boring. not saying that I agree with that sentiment because I actually been enjoying this feud. Oh, when is this feud gonna be over? Oh, this overstaying is welcome. I heard this on the show, multiple shows by the way, that this feud is not benefiting Trish, Becky, Zoe Stark, which I think is cap. But for the fact that they're not in a SummerSlam card, so they could save it and have more time and resources added into it on an episode of Raw, is now suddenly a crime or a sin or indication that WWE doesn't care about women's wrestling is bullshit. You have 2 other women's matches on the show. It's not like there's 0 women's matches on the show. And I keep seeing tweets, oh, I can't believe they're leaving out Rhea Ripley from SummerSlam. Really? You can sit here with a straight face and tell me that a match with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, I was going to go with 6 minutes with a DQ finish attached to it because they're probably going to fight each other at Payback. You just desperately needed that on the premium live event. You needed that badly. So we're going to sit here with a straight face and act like Rhea Ripley will not be at SummerSlam? I got to tell you guys, man, there's fantasy booking and being a mark, and then there's reality. You guys talk out of both sides, yes. Everybody right now that is crying over the fact that Trish and Becky are not on the SummerSlam card are the same people that would say, oh, this match drug down the show. This was a bathroom break match. Don't tell me you're lying because you guys did it at WrestleMania this year. Don't tell me now that you suddenly give 2 shits over the fact that Becky and Trish are fighting with each other. Now you care because it's SummerSlam week. Oh, we need something new to bitch about. That's what the truth is. So we really need to make up our minds what we're doing here. Are you going to own up to the fact that you are a market and you just want something to bitch about? Or are you actually going to stick true to your guns and how you actually feel about things? Don't come in here one week, oh, I can't believe Becky and Trish are still feuding with each other. Then the next, oh, it's a sin that these 2 are not on the SummerSlam card. How dare Triple H do that? Come on, man. That's not cool. At least be consistent if you're going to be a fucking sensitive ass mark. All right, let's go on with the other matches on the show. First off, I want to give a shout out to Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey for their video packages on Raw. I thought that was very good this week. However, I think Shayna Baszler will defeat Ronda Rousey. I have Gunther retaining over Drew McIntyre. That's going to be a very good match. I have Logan Paul defeating Ricochet. I have Asuka retaining and having Bianca Belair attack Charlotte Flair after the match and putting her through a table. So Asuka retains and still is your WWE Women's Champion. By the way, we just forgot that there's 2 women's matches on the show too. But no, because Becky and Trish are not on the show, that means there's 0 matches of women from the SummerSlam card. Get real, folks. I'm so tired of these sensitive-ass wrestling fans. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. I think he beats Brock Lesnar here. I think he gets his big victory here. So I got Cody winning this one. I have Seth defeating Finn Balor, but also I will not be surprised and I would not have an issue if Finn Balor does defeat Seth Rollins. Now, here's the thing. Does Damian Priest cash in his Money in the Bank contract? Is there more tension with the Judgment Day? What is going to happen? Because I think we're going to get a big angle here for the Judgment Day and see where things go from here. But I think Rollins and Balor will be a fantastic match. And I'm really excited for that one too. So I got Seth retaining. And then more tensions lie with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. But I will not be surprised and I will not have an issue if Finn Balor wins the world title on Saturday. All right, let's take a swig of water there. And then we have Roman and Jey Uso. So here's how I have the Trial Combat thing going out here for Saturday. I do believe the Tribal Chief will retain his WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. he will remain the champion. I think Jimmy will return, and he'll get brawling with Solo Sikoa. But one way or another, I see Roman Reigns retaining the title, and I think Randy Orton comes out after the match to confront Roman Reigns to close out the show. That's my big surprise. I think Randy Orton is going to come out and confront Roman Reigns, and that's your next big challenger for the Universal Championship outside of the Bloodline stuff. So I don't think Jay is going to win, and I don't think him losing is going to make him lose any stock or any momentum. It's going to be an awesome match. There's going to be a lot of good storytelling in it. Yeah, there will be a ref bump. There's your spoiler alert. Yes, there'll be a ref bump. But all in all, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for SummerSlam. But I do believe that Roman Reigns will retain over Jey Uso, and I think Randy Orton will come out to confront Roman after the match. That is my guess here on the Hoots podcast. So with that being said, that is what happened this week in WWE. I hope you guys enjoy SummerSlam. Let me know in the comment sections down below what matches you are looking forward to the most. And let us know what are your predictions for SummerSlam coming up on Saturday. So it should be fun. I think it's pretty cool that they're in the football stadium. So yeah, I don't get it, guys. I'm just really tired of the double standards and the things to cry, just to cry and just whine and bitch every week on Twitter. I'm just over it. It's just very exhausting, to be honest with you. But anyways, let's move on here. All right, folks, it's time for our Week 3 New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 33 report. Brought to you by yours truly, Joshie Lopez, and ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Make sure to bookmark that website right now. That is ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's put this on the screen as I update you guys. Now we're on the final stretch here for the G1 in this tour. We got 2 shows coming up on Saturday and Sunday. I've been busy this week. I did shows on Tuesday and Wednesday for the A, B, and C and D blocks. Now we have a new wrinkle coming in for the upcoming shows as we get closer to the finals. This weekend, so instead of having A and B block matches on a particular day, these next 4 shows for New Japan will be dedicated to the certain block. So on Saturday will be all A block matches, and then Sunday will be all B block matches. But let's take a look at the standings first before we get into those previews, okay? So here we are with the A block. We got Sonata undefeated so far with 12 points. We have a 3-way tie at second place with Hikuleo, Kaito Kiyomiya, and Shota Umino with 6 points. And then we have Gabriel Kidd and Yota Tsuji looking on the outside in with 5 points. Now remember, with G1 this year, there's going to be a playoff tournament. So the first 2, the 2 highest ranked members in each block will advance towards the playoffs. So you'll have 8 competitors in the playoffs. You have 2 from the A block, 2 from the B block, 2 from the C block, and 2 from the D block. And then we'll figure it out from there. So I'm trying to give you the layman's term of what's going on with the G1 this year. So right now we have Sonata right now tied for first. Not tied first, but he is in first. He's undefeated with 12 points. And then we go to the B block. Okada is currently the points leader with 10 points. Will Ospreay has 8. El Phantasmo and Tai Chi and Tangaloa are outside looking in with 6 points. Then we have everybody else with 4 points. And then we go to the C block. This one, I told you, man, it was going to be the Wild Wild West. These guys, this is all over the place. We have a 3-way tie right now for first with David Finlay, Evil, and Eddie Kingston with 8 points. Then we have Shingo and Tama Tonga with 7 points, which the one comes for their time limit draw, which was a very good match, by the way. I think that their match was on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. That was a very good match. Anyways, then we go to the D block. 3-way tie for first place with Jeff Cobb, Tetsuya Naito, and Zack Sabre Jr. with 8 points. Naito got a big victory over Zack Sabre Jr. in yesterday's show, and Jeff Cobb got upsetted by Hiroki Goto. And then second place, we have a two-way tie with Tanahashi and Hiroki Goto at 6 points apiece. So let's take a look at the matches coming up this weekend. Two G1 Climax shows taking place from Osaka, the Avion Arena in Osaka, Japan. Now, like I said, these particular events for the next 4 shows will be all block matches as we get closer and closer to the finals, which is a very important distinction to point out here because with the G1, it's a playoff tournament, so we got to figure out what that bracket's going to look like, how things are going to go from there. I'll update you guys with that once the information comes out. But I will say this. Let's take a look at this, all right? So we have on the undercard, there's going to be 5 tag team matches. I'm not really excited about that because it's going to extend the length of the show, but we have 5 undercard tag matches here on the Saturday show on August 5th. It's going to be Jeff Cobb and the Great O'Khan, All Hail, taking on Taichi and Doki. We have a 6-man tag team match featuring Bishamon and Yo taking on David Finley, Kenta, and Gato. We have Naito, Shingo, and Bushi taking on Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Show of the House of Torture. Will Ospreay and Aaron Hanari of the United Empire will be taking on El Phantasmo and Togi Makabe. We have the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii taking on the Gorillas of Destiny and Hiroshi Tenzan. Here are the block matches for Saturday. We have Yota Tsuji against Gabriel Kidd. That is going to be sick. We have Kaito Kiyomiya and Ren Narita. That is the match to look out for, in my opinion. We have Sonata and Chase Owens. And then the main event on the Saturday show will be Hikuleo and Shota Umino. Then on Sunday, same thing, 5 matches. We have Sonata and Doki taking on Kaito Kiyomiya and Roy Oiwa. We have Tanahashi and Ishii taking on Mikey Nichols and Kosei Fujita of TMDK. We have Tama Tonga and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Jeff Cobb and Aaron Hanare. Eddie Kingston and Togi Makabe will be taking on David Finley and Chase Owens. Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji, and Bushi, all of LIJ will be taking on the House of Torture in an 8-man tag team match. Here are the block matches for the B block finals. Kenta against Yoshihashi. Taichi against the Great O'Khan, All Hail. Okada will be taking on Tangaloa. And then the main event on the Sunday show will be Will Ospreay and El Phantasmo. That is going to be fantastic. So that's a little bit of an update right there for what's going on with the G1. The G1 will conclude next Sunday, August 13th. We're in the final stretch here, so we got 7 more shows to cover here for the G1. We're getting very close towards the end. It's been a fun tournament to cover. I've been very fortunate to do this, and why not go out with a bang here? Like I said during the Q&A session this week, once the G1's over, I'm going to be taking a break from the transcripts until either I get my job back or I'll have to do something else. So I do want to say thank you for all of you who've been rocking with me during this G1 coverage. I do appreciate it. If you do check it out, if you do give it a like or a retweet on Twitter or on LinkedIn or whatever, I do appreciate you guys. Check out these articles. And as always, check out ProWrestlingTransfers.com. I have a reference sheet so you can see the current standings and stuff like that. And we'll give you guys more updates once the tournament, the new brackets of the playoffs are revealed, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, man, we're on the final leg of the G1 tour, and we're also on the final leg of me making wrestling transcripts. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. But we're not done yet, folks, on this podcast, because it's time for the main event. It's scheduled for one fall with an unlimited time limit. And if you're easily offended, that's a you problem, not a me problem. It's what everybody wants. It's what everybody needs. It's affectionately known as What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Let's start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I really wish this was the end of the podcast, but it's not. All right, folks. Let's get into it. What the hell is wrong with AEW? You guys see the graphic on the screen there. Shout out to the good brother Joe Cerna for making this beautiful, and I mean beautiful portrait here. I mean, just look at that. I mean, Picasso and Vincent Van Gogh, or whatever the artist was that Kate Winslet brought up in Titanic. Jack Dawson would be jealous of this as well. A beautiful portrait here. A one of a kind photo, and just great illustration of art. It really exemplifies all the problems that it is with All Elite Wrestling. But let's start off with the positive stuff this week. We are back. Man, I really wanted to come in here and just be like, man, this is the week where I'm gonna put over Dynamite and Collision, but I just can't. I gotta be honest with you guys. I just can't. I'll say again, Collision is a far more enjoyable experience for me to watch than Dynamite. I want to give first a shout out to Andrade and Buddy Matthews for their ladder match this past Saturday. I thought it was very, very good. Very physical match. Andrade did get his mask back. But that poses a question. Where things are going to go with Andrade? Are we going to get Andrade and Malachi Black at All Out or at Wembley Stadium? We got to figure out how that's going to play out. Also want to give a shout out to CM Punk and Ricky Stark with their segment. It could have been done without Tony Schiavone. I think we have enough Tony Schiavone as it is. I need that guy off my screen as soon as possible. But I thought the stuff with Punk and him calling himself the real world champion, and Punk doing Punk things, I thought Punk was just on another level. I don't know about the whole spray painting the title. I get the whole symbolism with the straight edge stuff. Don't get me wrong, I get it, but is this the same guy that shit talks Hulk Hogan all the time? I think Punk probably should stay away from the Hulk Hogan stuff, and that's not somebody that you want to compare yourself with. Because I've seen it already this week. Everybody's like, "Oh, see, CM Punk did the Hulk Hogan spraying on the title during the whole NWO stuff." You do not want to compare yourself to Hulk Hogan if you hate that guy so much. So I probably stray away from that. But I get it. They did the whole symbol, the straight edge stuff, so no harm, no foul. The main event with FTR and Adam Cole and MJF was a very good match. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. FTR is the best tag team in the world. FTR are very fun to watch. I do feel sorry for them that I will not be watching their match live this Saturday because SummerSlam takes priority, at least in my opinion. But they're going to run into these issues, man. And I get it that they're loading up Collision this week with multiple title matches, and they got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat now being the official for the CM Punk and Ricky Starks match. But They're going to run through this issue not only with WWE premium live events on Saturday nights, but also college football is right around the corner. It's not going to be a good look for Collision on a numbers point of view, but I do want to say that Collision has been an enjoyable experience for me so far. I haven't run into an episode where I thought it's been bad or unwatchable, which is a far cry from what I watch on Wednesday nights on TBS. But again, I just want to start off with the positive stuff because Dynamite is Dynamite. I just can't sit here with a straight face and tell you guys how great this stuff is all the time because it's not. It's not. So, overall, I thought Collision was a very solid show, and you guys should support Collision because it's actually the only consistent and good content that AEW produces each and every single week. I do want to compliment one thing from Dynamite this week, outside of the obligatory Renee Young and Ray are fucking hot shout outs that I do every week because it's true. And two, they're talented. But more importantly, I want to give a shout out to the NJF and Adam Cole segment. I thought it was very good. I know I've been critical about the double clothesline and the comedy stuff and blah, 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 but I thought it was a good segment. You kind of see where things are going to lead things up in the air. Will Adam Cole turn on MJF? Will MJF turn his back on Adam Cole? Their match is now official for Wembley Stadium. That will be the main event, which I think is a good call. I do. I think it is a very good call. For AEW to have that as the main event. Your world title should be the main event on your stadium show. But again, they're going to run to this predicament as we get closer towards these two pay-per-views. What makes one more worthwhile than the other? And I get it that the shows in Chicago and Chicago crowds are the best in the world, but you need to convince people to shell out $50 for two different pay-per-views. What's the incentive and why should I care enough to spend that amount of money on a wrestling pay-per-view in 2023? I get it. We get it. We get the promotion and all the pyro and ballyhoo about how many tickets they sold for this Wembley Stadium stuff. And it's a great accomplishment. I'm not going to take that away from them. I think that's cool. I think it's great for the wrestling business that they sold that many tickets. But again, my issue is not the fact that they sell out Wembley Stadium where they're doing this show. It's the fact that they're doing this two pay-per-views back-to-back weeks, and half the storylines on current TV are either not addressed of what's happening on those particular shows, or B, it's just a waste of fucking time. So we had the 200th episode of AEW Dynamite last night, and it just where AEW fashion, we go from an Outlaw Mudshow that started in 2019 to an Outlaw Mudshow in 2023. I guess another positive I can mention is two things. It was nice to see RVD on the screen. Do I care that he's fighting Jungle Boy Jack Perry? No. Do I care about this feud with him and Hook? Yes, I wish it would be without the ECW guys, but what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? So RVD will be fighting Two-Face Dipshit next week in a FTW rules match for the FTW title. Whoopity doo. But it wouldn't be AEW starting it off without Chris Jericho. Yay! It's Chris Jericho and Kenosi Takeshita against Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. First, let's start off with the shit, because there was a lot of shit, as Brother Carter would affectionately say. Daniel Garcia, please stop with that stupid fucking dance you do each and every single week. You look and are carrying yourself like a jackass. I don't care that the crowd paused for you. That dance looks fucking stupid and corny as hell, okay? Stop doing that dance, for the love of God. Again, I'm going to keep asking this question until this faction is officially confirmed. Do any of you give two shits whether or not Chris Jericho and Don Callis work with each other? I'm going to ask this question every week until we figure out what's going on with these two, because I don't. I don't want to see Chris Jericho on my TV, and I sure as hell do not want to see Don Callis on my TV screen. Both of them can go the fuck home and stay the fuck home as far as I'm concerned. Now, we go and see that Jericho crosses Guevara and Daniel Garcia the match. And Matt Menard comes up to Jericho backstage. He's like, next week, we're going to have a Jericho Appreciation Society meeting. Oh, man. We need a meeting to confirm that one of the worst factions in wrestling history is finally going to go away. Yes, our dreams have finally come true. We don't have to sit through this shit anymore. Adios, the January 6th appreciators. Oh my God, that was so fucking stupid. I talked about the Jungle Boy, Jack Perry stuff already with Jerry Lynn and RVD. That was what it was. How about this? It wouldn't be an AEW Dynamite show without a random match with no rhyme or reason attached to it and blood attached to it as well. So we got Plumber Moxley, Pentagon Jr., and Trent Beretta in a triple threat anything goes match. So you got garbage cans being thrown over the place. We have Moxley bleeding. LOL, Moxley bleeds. And we got thumbtacks. So it's not enough that Moxley comes and brings out barbed wire, 2x4s. I mentioned the thumbtack spots as well. But all that, we lead into this. This is the dumb part of the show for me, where it started to get stupid. Okay, thumbtacks and barbed wire and trash cans are not enough to keep you down, but let's stand in the center of the ring and pretend we're in New Japan Pro Wrestling and do a forearm exchange for 2 minutes, just giving us back and forth forearms. And again, when I see Jon Moxley matches in AEW, I want to pull my eyes out. Seriously. The match layouts suck. They have no rhyme reason to it. The stupid thing where he always does the rebound off the ropes, I think is stupid as well. Which is really funny because it's a no DQ match. And then we see Claudio come out and Wheeler Useless comes out and nobody gives a shit. Out comes fuck Taylor and Pockets. I'm here just dreading the fact knowing that Jon Moxley is going to fight Orange Cassidy at one of these pay-per-views. You already know it's going to happen. You already know. I don't need to give you a spoil for that. I don't need to pretend that I have sources to say that Jon Moxley and Pockets are going to fight each other at the pay-per-view. Watch the fucking show. It's right in front of you. This match is going to be absolutely dreadful for me. I know there's fans of Jon Moxley and Pockets out there, and more power for you. But I can only speak for me. I do not want to see Jon Moxley and Pockets in a feud, in a match, in anything. I don't want to see it. I just don't. Damn you, Tony Khan. All right, let's continue on here. I talked about the NJS segment. That was what it was. Also, another thing I wanted to give a shout out to was the Swerve Strickland and AR Fox evading the stuff with Nick Wayne and Darby Allin. I've been liking what they've been doing there. So see, I'm trying to blend some positivity here and there. It's not all bad, but it gets worse from here. Kenny Olivier and Young Bucks take on Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh. I just said that. The Elite took on Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh in a trios match. And once again, it's a clusterfuck. We got all the elements there. We got Brandon Cutlet on the outside with the cool spray trying to attack Karen Jarrett. We got the Dead Quartz ref as the referee. I'm watching this match, and it's like, what could go wrong will go wrong. I will say the pop for Hangman Page doing that Buckshot Larry was pretty nice, so I will say that. But again, this is a squash match or this is a match to get the Elite out there to celebrate the 200 episodes and the fact that they re-signed with AEW. I guess I should talk about this now since I talked a little bit about it earlier. Look, I have no issues with them if they want to resign with AEW. They started the company. They are the foundation of that promotion, whether people want to believe it or not. I don't have an issue with that. I think it's cool. They are putting the emphasis on their family and their schedules important to them, so more power to them. But we're going to see really what's going to come out of this for these guys, because I've already seen these guys fight like 80% of their roster since they've been there and started the company. So, we're going to sit here and do another FTR feud, do another Dark Order feud, see them against the Lucha Brothers again, see Kenny Olivier and Bryan Danielson. Like, I've seen this stuff already. The premise of me seeing them in WWE is seeing them do something different, not them leaving AEW. I wanted to see those guys collectively do something different, but they're not. They're going to stay in AEW, and that, again, I don't have a problem with that. That's their decision, and they have every right to go about it their own way. I think that's cool. But what will come out of this second round with them re-signing with AEW, we'll have to see. I don't have my hopes up because, again, it is AEW. What could go wrong will go wrong. But let's continue on here on the show. 1 second here. Oh, Aussie Open against El Hijo del Vikingo Commander. Fine match, but again, I thought this match was just misplaced. I don't think the show needed to be on the 200 episode of Dynamite. I don't know what Ring of Honor has to do with AEW Dynamite. Like, especially with that being a celebration show, that should not have been on the 200th episode of Dynamite. So, yeah, Aussie Open was on the show. I enjoyed their work as a tag team, but that was just wasted space for me. And then they had to rush out this match with Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm. And I want to give congratulations go out to Hikaru Shida on becoming the new AEW Women's World Champion. But you're not fooling me. Shida became the champion only because the outcry of the pissing and moaning over the fact that, hey, Triple H decided to kick Becky and Trish off the SummerSlam card. It's the reason why Shida and Tony Storm main evented Dynamite, and it's the reason why Shida won the title. So, it is what it is. I thought it was also silly yesterday where Fuck Taylor gets on the microphone and I'm like, oh boy, where can this go? And he says, hey, us against the BCC in a parking lot brawl at Daly's place on Rampage. I'm like, oh God. The struggle is real. Which segues into our Excrement impression this week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a new edition of AEW Rampage. Let's check out the matches, ladies and gentlemen. We have Swerve Strickland and AR Fox in action. From there, we have Keith Lee and the Hardys taking on the team of Butcher, The Blade, and Kip Sabian. Anna Jay takes on Sky Blue. And our main event is Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Comic Club taking on the Best Friends in a parking lot fight. Then on Saturday night, from Greensboro, South Carolina, we have, Greenville, South Carolina, we have a new edition of AEW Collision. First, we have CM Punk defending his real AEW World Championship on the line against Ricky Starks. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be the special guest referee. From there, we have Chris Sanders defending her TBS Championship on the line against Mercedes Martinez. And FTR, for the second week in a row, will put their AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line against Big Bill and Brian Cage. More matches being announced. Make sure to follow Tony Khan on Twitter at Tony Khan. And also, we'll hear from the Acclaim and more. Get all your tickets right now at awtix.com. That's awtix.com. The last thing I wanted to mention here, before we wrap up this segment this week, is Tony Khan responding to Triple H's comments on the Cody Rhodes, Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary on Peacock on Monday. This was a big hoopla blah. Yeah, take a swig of water here for this. All right. I can't believe I have to talk about this, but this is how childish this dude is. Okay. We heard the comments from Triple H in context saying that Cody Rhodes' dream is to become the world champion that his father was in WWE. He wanted to become the WWE champion. And Triple H, using that context, was saying, like, hey, this is what my legacy I want to be. I want to be that, not be remembered as the face, trying to become the champion and the face of a secondary promotion. Triple H is entitled to feel how he wants. To get on a soapbox and go after the guy and feel like all these sensitive ass AEW fans and podcasters out there opining and whining over the fact that Triple H called AEW a secondary promotion. They are a secondary promotion. You want to look at business wise and where things stand right now? They are a secondary promotion. That's not an opinion, that's fact. You want to talk about bottom line business? AEW is a secondary promotion. AEW runs at a loss costs. They're not at where WWE's. They're not at WWE's level when it comes from business. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. He's using his dad's money. Everybody wants to get Tony Khan's prop for how much of a business genius he is. Yeah, it's easy when your daddy is giving you all the money in the world to do whatever you want and satisfy your dirty old habits. This is what I really want to talk about here, because I saw his comments and saying, oh, we're not going to be a secondary promotion at Wembley Stadium. We're not going to be a secondary promotion at All In. Well, here's the thing. We're not going to take a back seat to anybody. Well, Tony Khan, this is from me to you. I don't want to hear you talk about what seat you are not going to take from anybody when you still have Dave Meltzer holding your fucking hand while you try to run a wrestling promotion, okay? I don't care how big your ego is and how much bravado you got because you are a four-time reigning, defending Wrestling Observer Booker of the Year winner. You, my friend, need to have some self-awareness and look yourself in the mirror. You want to talk about, oh, you're not going to take a backseat to WWE. Yeah, you can't make a decision without going through the filter of Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer. Okay? Please, do us a favor. Be a man. Be a fucking boss. Handle your business behind the scenes and shut the fuck up already. From me to you. And on that note, that is what the hell's wrong with AEW? 200 episodes of AEW Dynamite, aka the Mudshow. Cheers to 200 more Mudshows.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nope.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right. That concludes another stellar edition of What the Hell's Wrong with the AEW this week. Well, my friends, we're about to finish our voyage here on episode 372 of the Hoots podcast. But before we head out, it's time to crown a brand new winner of the CLAHN of the Week. Let's check this out.
I'm not CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
One more time.
I'm not CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
The CLAHN of the Week this week goes to Dark Side of the Ring. I appreciate what they do, and it's just the topic and just the scumbag that's coming out of it. It's just all plastered all over my social media feed, and I'm just tired of looking at it because it's a topic that I'm just tired of, and it's Batch of the Beast 2000 for WCW. The less that we need to hear from Russo and Meltzer going after each other, I'm just very indifferent to it, and I just felt that they just did that topic just to stir the pot again between those guys, and I just thought it wasn't necessary. I'm not a staunch Vince Russo defender, but I think the guy gets enough shit as it is, and you can be critical of his work or whatever, but the guy is a good human being, and the flag that he gets is just ridiculous to a certain extent. But I just thought the topic is tired, and I thought they just did it just to fire up the flames of people on wrestling Twitter. So, Dark Side of the Ring, you, my friends, are the CLAHN of the week.
I'm not CLAHN. The CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
All right, folks. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. A fun episode of the Hoots Podcast. As always, I appreciate the support. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast anywhere you get your podcast from. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel on YouTube as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you're on Spotify, please follow us and share our links as we are trying to get 100 unique Spotify listeners to qualify for ambassador ads on our podcast. We do appreciate the support on that end. Make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com as you see my final coverage of the G1 Climax tournament. Don't forget to enjoy SummerSlam this weekend. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, if nobody dictates the pace of your life or yourself and the man upstairs. I'm a very happy good brother to see that Yannick Ngakoue is now a Chicago Bear. Take that. And I hope you guys enjoy SummerSlam this week. We'll be here next week to recap the show as the road to 400 episodes continue right here on the Hoots Podcast. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.